Kayla, and I am a 5th grade teacher who just finished her first full year of teaching, which is pretty exciting. I don't know yet whether I should refer to myself as a 2nd year teacher or not. I don't know if I'm there yet, but it's possible. I figured now, since the school year is over, it's summer, I think this would be a good time for me to do a little reflection on how the year went, a little look back, and chat a little bit about just what I thought, what I loved, what I didn't love, things I learned, things maybe that I just noticed about the year. So if you're interested in hearing the internal thoughts of a first year teacher, then please don't leave. Just a really quick background on my teaching experience. I student taught at the school that I currently work at in the fall of 2019 in 3rd grade. And then at the very end of that student teaching experience, I was hired on as a long-term sub for my very own 4th grade classroom. And then I was brought on as a full-time contracted teacher for this past year in 5th grade. So not only is this the only school that I've ever taught at, but I also moved up from 4th to 5th grade with the students that I had in my class. So I didn't have all the same students, I didn't just loop up with them, but I did have a lot of my previous students and I knew most of the grade level for the most part. So that was pretty cool. So that's a really quick background on my experience to kind of help you picture and know my perspective as I was going into this year. This year turned out to be really challenging for me and not really in the same way that I think everyone else experienced. Honestly, the year started out amazing for me. We spent most of the first half of the year in a hybrid model. So my class was split into 2 different cohorts who would come to school half the week and then the other half of the week they were online, and then they would just flip-flop depending on which cohort they were in. So I was at school full time, but they were online half the time. And surprising to me, I actually wasn't that stressed out in that aspect of the job. Obviously, making videos for everything, which is what we had to do, was pretty exhausting after a while, but that wasn't what made the year super challenging for me. Honestly, I think I adapted so well because I didn't have a lot of prior experience to compare it to. I had half of a year spent in normal teaching circumstances, and then COVID happened, and then I had to completely adapt everything that I was doing. So it's really all that I know for the most part. And don't get me wrong, I was really sad when I found out I wouldn't get to have that classic first year in-person experience, and I do think that in-person learning is better for the students, and I love it a lot more, but that's not what made my year so challenging, and I was able to adapt pretty well. I was able to develop really amazing relationships with my students right away, and they did a really good job with their online learning as much as they could. I found myself loving going to work every day, loving my job, loving my students so much. To brag a little bit, my class was the best class in the 5th grade, so shout out to them. Which brings me to my first thought about this past year, which is that teaching is amazing and more than anything I could have ever imagined. And it was very different than I imagined. It is a lot different than just what I see on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or reading books about it or going to school and hearing about what school is like. Being a teacher is a lot different than what I imagined, but it is so much better. I love being a teacher. I love getting to go into work and hang out with kids and interact with them and get to know them and help them learn and help them grow and try to figure out ways to inspire them and engage them. And in general, kids are just so amazing. They are so interesting and unique and funny and weird in all the good ways, and I just love them so much. As I'm making this video, I am realizing that teaching is a blend of all of my favorite things. Interacting with kids, organizing, fun, games, making progress, growing and learning, becoming better people, data entry, math, paperwork. You might think I'm joking about those last ones, but I sincerely enjoy data entry and paperwork. It's just something that brings me joy. But yes, I just love teaching so much, and I felt so connected with and I cared so deeply for my class. On the last day of school, I sobbed for 2 hours after they left me as I was tearing down my room. And not just like crying, shedding some tears, I was straight up heave sobbing for 2 hours straight that I probably scared some people. I was like tearing down my classroom after school and just like and I like couldn't stop, and it was kind of embarrassing, but I just could not stop because I was so sad that I would never see them again and so sad that they left me because I cared so much for them. I do not understand how you all do this every year. Develop a tiny little family that you care so deeply about and then just have to say goodbye to them, especially 5th grade teachers, and they're not even going to be in the same building as you and you're probably never going to see them again. That is just so sad. My team kept telling me that it's going to get easier, and it does get easier, and I legitimately do not believe them. I know myself too well, and I know that I get deeply attached to people and I care very deeply, and my little sensitive heart probably will never get used to the fact that I have to say goodbye to these kids every single year. Obviously, I will be fine and I will be able to do it, but I do not think that it will feel different. Maybe a little bit different because this was my first full class that I had for a full year, but I just feel like it will not get easier. That's just how I feel, but we will see. As I said earlier, this year did turn out to be pretty challenging for me as well though, so I'll get into that right now. Halfway through the year, we came back 100% in person, which was awesome. I was so excited for it, but I was a little bit nervous because my 2 cohorts had really different personalities. But I was like, it's gonna be fine. I am so excited to have them here 5 days a week. It's gonna be awesome. We have really good relationships. It's gonna be fine. And in a lot of ways, it was really great. But the personality of my class did change, and it was really difficult for me to figure out how to respond to that. And I really didn't know how to go about interacting with them in a way that helped us still have a really healthy classroom environment. I started to see how mean kids can be, not only to each other, but also to the adults in the room. And it was really, really difficult for me to not take things personally. And I know that you're supposed to not take things personally, and this year I'm realizing that that's something I really need to grow in, but I legitimately do not understand how I'm gonna get better at not taking things personally because it does feel that way a lot of the time. To be completely transparent, my classroom management sucked after they all came back together. They fed off of each other's energy. They would never stop talking. They were extremely rude to each other and to me and disrespectful, and really just the entire classroom environment wasn't a positive place to be, and it was really difficult for kids to learn and grow and become better because not only were they being mean to each other and communicating in a not great way, they didn't want to learn and they thought everything was stupid, and no matter what I tried, it didn't seem to have an effect on them. All the great relationships in the world did not change a thing, and that felt terrible because I did have these amazing relationships and I still felt like they were kind of there, but the attitudes were shifting and I didn't know how to bring it back. And everyone on the internet says that relationships are key, and I agree with that, but I don't think it solves all of your problems. At least it didn't mine. I really struggle with trying to be myself, this really nice, fun-loving, relaxed, chill person, while also trying to hold this very consistent, healthy classroom environment where kids will listen to me and not take advantage of me, but they love taking advantage of my personality, and it's so difficult. And I hate thinking about the fact that I might have to change it up. But I know that I need to do something, so if there's any of you out there who have experienced this in the past or are going through it right now and are trying things or wanting to figure it out together, or something has worked for you, please, please, please leave a comment below because I would love to hear how you fixed this. Because it's something that I am really looking forward to trying new stuff next year. But there's also this deep-seated part of me that is really terrified that I will have to either not be myself or do something that I don't want to do, or it's just not going to work. Despite those challenges, I loved my class, I loved my year, and I would not give them up for anything. It's just a learning experience, right? So I do need to say that I love them and nothing would change how much I love them. Overall, I learned that your attitude is everything. Other people see it, and that really reflects on who you are as a person, or at least how they're gonna see you as a person, and it affects you. I wholeheartedly believe that I still love teaching and I am still so excited to keep teaching because of the mindset that I chose to have. That no matter how bad a day could make me feel, I would choose to get all of my feelings out, the good and the bad, and then choose to have a positive attitude, to see the positive things, the things that I could change, the things that were in my control, the things that I could learn and change and grow in for the next day. And I think that's why I'm still so excited to go into school, why I chose to work summer school, and I am excited about it and I like it, why I'm excited to go back to school next year, and I can't wait until summer is over. A little piece of me wants to stay in summer, but I am so excited to go back. I really hate when people say that the enthusiasm for teaching will wear off, that this passion and excitement that I have for teaching is only there because I'm a new teacher. But I really truly cannot see that passion dying. And if that makes me naive, then so be it. Ultimately, what I want to do in this space is be real. I want to show what it's really like to be a teacher in a constructive way. I want to share my experiences, the good, the bad, all the different things that I'm learning and growing in, the things that I'm doing awesome in, and the things that I might be sucking in, and talk about them together and just really show the process of learning and growing and changing. That it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to say, oh yeah, that did not work, I messed up. I am obviously no expert at any of this, but that's why I'm here. So if you're interested in following along on my journey and with my story, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, reach out, connect with me, and I would love, love, love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to my thoughts, and I hope that you have an amazing time until the next time that I see you. Bye!